snap.
What are you doing?
You know what I'm trying to get a man to do? Why you playing? What it look like I'm doing?
Making a mess?
No. Dude, I am trying to get this chemistry right. And if I can get this chemistry right, then I'm going to have my baby. Because God knows I've been waiting. You put a little passion on. I already put that Christ in now.
Yeah, that's not how we're going to get chemistry. If you want to know how to learn about chemistry and attraction, stay tuned for today's episode. Jackson,
Dante,
Dominique, and we are totally naked.
Hey guys, what's going on?
What up? So last week we started a series called Where Is Bae? And so last week we challenged you to look at a list. What is your list and how you can identify who the bae is? But then once we have bae, you know, are we attracted to bae? You know, those become some of the questions. And so this week's we're going to talk a little bit about chemistry and attraction. What gets us attracted to that new person? All right. And so we want to ask the question, does attraction trump chemistry?
No.
Okay.
That was quick.
Question. Okay.
Why you say no?
Okay. This is why I say no. Because attraction only, in my opinion, gets you to the point where you can figure out the rest of it. Because at some point, me being attracted to you gonna die. Like when you wake up in the morning, your breath not gonna smell the best. You're gonna have eye boogers. When you sick, you probably gonna have stuffy nose and boogies. Like there's not gonna always be a time where your hair cut and you dress to the 10. Like it's not. I mean, your level of attraction. Now, I will say, there are certain things that you can get attracted to other than your physical appearance. I mean, things could be what you actually do for a living.
Right.
If you have a special gift, like if you can sing or play an instrument, you know, those kind of things. Or if you just got straight up swag. Okay, all of those things are attributes of attraction. But I feel like any given time, any of those things could go away.
That's true.
Right. And I feel like the chemistry is the glue that keeps you together and takes you through the ups and the downs.
Right.
Okay, so what is chemistry then? Like what, how?
Well, wait.
How do we have the
did you
chemistry?
want to talk about why you think it trumps it or not?
I don't know. I wouldn't say trumps. I think one leads to the next. I'm one of the attraction is what starts out everything. Like when I even give you the opportunity to see if we even have chemistry, I have to be attracted. Like it's an initiator.
Right, I agree. But the initiator, I feel like, doesn't trump.
It doesn't trump it.
It's like the appetizer don't trump the entree.
Correct.
Yeah, but like I've seen like some people be in relationships, and I can remember back when I was a little bit younger as well, where I would be in a relationship with someone that I am attracted to, and because I'm so attracted to them, like I feel like that there is where my chemistry came from. Like I wanted to genuinely be around them just because. And it was more than just the physical. It was like, you know, being able to, the desire was there. Like, I'm like, you know what? Oh, gosh, yeah. Like, something about being around you just makes me.
But could that be a little bit along the lines of lusting? Because here's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, because I feel like I need to, when I sit down and talk to you, bruh, you better have something to say. Because you could be fine. Listen, you could be Denzel fine. You could be Michael B. Jordan fine. But when you open that mouthpiece and ain't nothing coming out of there but foolishness and trash, I'm going to have to chuck you to the side. Because, you know, if I feel like, and let's be clear about what a chemistry is.
Substance.
Yes. Chemistry is the natural bond that you have with somebody.
Okay.
Like, you know, you can have chemistry with friends like us in here. When we met each other, we naturally was like, boom, we connected naturally, right?
Right, because like a lot of what we do, like like some of us are silly. If you know us individually, you will know that collectively, like it's a bunch of people that's just like cracking jokes all the time. Another thing that I've like noticed and observed, like, and this is like how long have we known each other? Probably that maybe 2 years.
I met him yesterday,
Not
actually.
even long. Well, anyway, I know him a little longer because he is my real
Right.
family. He's my real blood.
Yeah.
but-
Like 3 years?
2 or 3 years.
I met them yesterday.
But the point is, it feels like so much longer.
It
right?
does.
Right.
And that's what I want you guys to understand. Like a real chemistry is the natural connection. You have natural things that you could connect on, whether that's going to be your love for maybe similar comedy, maybe similar books, maybe you guys like live jazz music, maybe you have had similar things happen to you growing up, but it's not a forced situation.
Yeah, it
it's
should
not
be
like
forced.
you're sitting at the dinner table like, well,
What happened to
what
you
we gonna
today?
talk about?
Yeah.
How was your day?
Right.
Good. Oh.
Well, half of the time, people like not even doing that no more. They looking
Yeah.
at their cell phones.
True.
Right.
Or
So-
TV.
Right, absolutely. So we have to identify the fact that just because you look good, just because you Instagram fly or Instagram famous, doesn't mean that we connect or have a true connection underneath the surface of the thing.
Sure.
Right? So I think that it's healthy to identify that. Have you ever been in a position, I'm sorry, this is off script, y'all. Have y'all ever been in a position where you felt like you had to force the chemistry and it was acceptable because they were just so fine?
Yeah. Now the thing is that gets draining
Mm-hmm.
and it gets old
Yeah.
and typically fades away
Mhm.
to the point where you don't even talk or whatever anymore, or the situationship or relationship is kind of just
Died off.
kind of goes away because
Mhm.
it's for me it's too much energy to exert on something that is just like, why am I? You get to thinking, why am I even doing this?
Yes,
Right.
yeah. I feel like that's like more like a shallow relationship
Yeah.
when you're doing that.
And
And
you-
so I think that
Most of the time you're doing it for other people,
Right.
not even
I think
for
it's-
yourself.
For me, it's like
That's
after
interesting.
they
Right.
hit it and they quit it, you wondering why they quit it. They quit it because you already had no bond.
It's
I
just
mean,
in there,
it was
exactly.
like
Thanks.
after the lust
Thanks.
part, right?
Right.
It's like, okay, she fine, and I wanted to get in there. And once they have gotten what they ultimately were seeking for, because they never established a true chemistry with you, then at that point, that's where you get the quit.
Now,
It could be vice versa.
Now, my thing is this, because we've walked into a new generation
Mhm.
where, you remember back in the day, I think we were talking about this earlier, where there was a courting situation,
Absolutely.
and then a dating, and you had to come meet the parents and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
In today's generation,
Mhm.
that is almost completely flipped. Now it's expected that by the second or third date, or maybe even first, like we're having sex, and then after that, I'm going to get to know you,
Right.
rather than the
Get to know
opposite.
you.
That which is the way it's been in the past.
Mhm.
Does that make
Which
sense?
I feel like is the right thing in that.
Right, and I'm not, and my thing is, I'm not saying one is right, one is wrong. I would prefer, of course, the old way. But my thing is, it's changed.
Yeah.
And so the whole dynamic is changing. How do we as Christians even fit into that when there's like a not pressure, but it's
the status. It's like
the-
what's acceptable.
right. What is acceptable and what's not.
Right.
Right off bat.
I think the first thing, y'all, honestly, is identifying that there is the difference between dating a person and really being in a relationship with a person.
I agree with
I
that.
think that people get it mixed up. Dating is where you discover if y'all got chemistry. And then once the chemistry is established or not established, is when you decide as a collective unit that we can take this from a dating situation to an actual relationship. And I think in this society, talking is the quote unquote dating. You're talking on the phone, you're talking through the internet,
Or texting.
or
I think
texting. And then when y'all finally
Texting.
take it from talking, texting, inboxing in a DM, and actually go out to hang out for the first time, the hanging out for the first time equals
Netflix
we
and
in,
chill.
we in a relationship.
And it's not.
And it's
Far
not.
from it.
It's
Yeah.
nowhere near it. And I think that we would be out of situationships, which, by the way, is a good plug to our live event. Y'all stay tuned for that. And we're going to really do a deep dive in situationships. But, like, I think that's how we, especially as Christians, we get into those things.
Yeah, I
Sadly.
wonder if like sometimes like because we are using technology a lot more
Mhm.
in our conversations and our communications, like, a lot of times, like, even I feel like I get so busy with life that it's just easier for me to respond with a text. And, then you get into these conversations where you may have been talking to someone, not really getting in the meat and potatoes, but that relationship where you're via text, the conversations, pretty much are general and topical, like where I may say, hey, where you at? I'm about to be here. So you're not really getting to understand or know the person. And so you sometimes have maybe talking to them by text for a month or so, and so that seems like a time frame where that's generally a good amount of time for you to get to know somebody, but I really haven't got to know you because I've been with these text messages, which are very in between and not the meat and potatoes. I don't know too many people who would go back and forth on no deep conversation on no 4-line text message trying to really get to understand someone's thought processes or what they like.
No, I wouldn't either. And I think the other piece is, and all that's being said here, is to seek substance. You need to ensure that in all of these different scenarios, what is this substantial? Is this something that I really, really want? Do I want to communicate with you through text? No. Is our relationship predicated on text or just a quickie or just a couple dates? Like, what is the substance? What am I looking for? Check yourself and assess, is this situation that I'm even in, if you've already began that relationship or that courtship, is this substantial? Or are we just in this thing for convenience?
Right. So I would take it, I don't necessarily agree that being through communicating via text equals no substance. I mean, I have to agree with you a little bit. Our lives are convoluted. So sometimes it may be, hey, I might have thought about you today and I'm just shooting you a quick, hey, what's up? However, we need to identify that me being in a relationship requires actual
a
conversation on the phone. Dating doesn't always have to be that on the phone, but it is critical that you take quality time together.
Right, I agree.
And talk about stuff. And when he says substance, I just want to throw it out there because substance could be a little different for
it's situational.
But I would say that if you don't know this man's last name, if you don't know if this man has been adopted, got mama alive, daddy alive, maybe you haven't dug too deep. If you don't know if he got crazy ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, or somebody in the background, then you ain't been looking too deep.
Well, see, the thing about it is, again, I think it's a generational thing.
Right.
So my thing is, do the young people today even know how to have a conversation without it being a text? You know what I mean? And really, like, how do I start a conversation?
Do they even know what they want now?
But this ain't about young people. This is about our generation.
Right.
It's about one-year-olds.
Hold up. I'm a young person. I don't know about y'all, but I consider us young people.
I ain't no senior citizen.
Us young people. I should have
No, my son is young people. He's 15.
That's different.
We are
That's different. That's a
adults.
totally
We
different
are
thing.
no longer young adults.
Right,
We are
but
adults.
those things like conversation starters, all those things are typically learned at home where you're having conversations with your parents, maybe around a dinner table, those things aren't here anymore. So my thing is now I'm as an adult trying to get to know somebody by starting a conversation by saying, what's your name?
Right.
What's your sign?
Substance.
Where do you
Right.
live? Like that's, you see what I mean? So
Right.
how do you even initiate that type of conversation
right.
Yeah.
when there isn't, when you haven't been taught that?
But
You're
I
asking
think-
people who haven't been taught
Right,
something
and I
just,
think that's the
oh, you
purpose
should
of
know
us-
this now.
Right, but I think that's the purpose of us even talking about
Right.
it.
Correct,
Because
it is.
we want you guys to really take a step back and say to yourself, number one, I know the difference between dating you and being for real with you. And we identified that just because y'all been hanging out, Netflixing and chilling, don't mean y'all in no relationship. And if you are unsure about what you got going on with whomever you got it going on with, take a step back and look at the nature of what's happening, right? Are your conversations only via text and it doesn't really get intimate? And when we say intimate, we mean into me you see, meaning you know things about me. That meaning that you've taken an interest in things other than what
You're
I
invested.
What I look like. Yeah.
Right.
I think
Invested.
but I think that it really boils down to like that we are in this technological stage in time where people are using the phone as the way of communicating. And so like they may be having relationships that are fostered on unfortunately, something that does not give you substantial relationship qualities.
But
and so
and
they're comfortable with.
I don't think phone conversation doesn't mean you can't get intimate as far as figuring things out about each other. I've been on the telephone.
I'm saying
hours.
so that's on the phone.
Hours.
You can.
You hang up. No, you hang up.
You hang up.
You
Boy, you know I like that when that.
But texting and talking on the phone is
So got that
fine.
right.
But it's also content, substance. When we talk about content, contextually, what is this relationship? What is the nature of our conversation?
So let's not say relationship, and because I think
what is the nature of this courtship? Whether we're dating, talking.
But I think that's the issue. No one's
But
using those
correct.
words. No one's like using
That's
courtship.
true.
So I may send you a picture of me, and it could be a nice picture. You know, I got a nice angle, like those things.
You ain't seen me.
And so, I'm not in a
I'm playing
relationship.
Somebody's thirsty.
No,
Okay.
but no, but like I'm not trying to get to know you in that way. So, but like there are people that are like maybe okay with just like I send you a picture, we talk a little bit about like some of the things that I may have did that day, and I really believe in my heart that I'm with this dude.
But that's sad.
That's sad.
No, and I'm just gonna keep it 100 because we straight talk no chaser. That is sad.
If that's what
that
you
is
think
not going to
validates
get you
your relationship,
correct. That is not what's going to get you what we talked about last week. Like we told you last week that you should look at your list and say, you know what am I bringing to the table? What is my value to somebody that is interested in spending their time with me, right? We have told you, look at more than just the materialistic stuff. Look at what do you want from a man? Do you, or a woman for that matter, right? So like, what do you want? And if you are not even seeing that via the text, via the phone call, via the hanging out in the movies, via the Netflix and chill or whatever, then at that point you need to take a step back and say, you're not a candidate for dating. Because this dating process that we've done, I have not grown from it. I don't know anything more about you. I don't, me and you, we wasting time. And one thing we can't get back, y'all, is time. Right. People are dropping dead left and right. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but they are. Your life is being wasted with people just because we don't want to take a step out of the convenience or the technology or the social norms.
Right.
Yeah, but I think that, like, you can go ahead. But
no, go ahead.
Okay, so, but my thing is, too, I think that a lot of times people enter into some of these situations, we're going to call them situations in this moment, because you may be thinking that this attraction is enough, and you may do this, the Netflix and chill. And then when you do the Netflix and chill, things get a little bit heated, and that attraction can lead to sex. And unfortunately, when it does happen, then sometimes out of that, babies come. And so then we have these, these issues where you're like, God dang, I have a child by this man. He doesn't even want to help me out. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you know what? It was a relationship that maybe shouldn't, like, it was a situation or a courtship type of situation. And you have to be able to define these things as that, because maybe I should not be sexing this dude if I'm not really dating him or in a real relationship with him. Because if I don't really know you like that, then I can end up being pregnant and or having some serious situations that occur that are life altering without really knowing the person. And then I'm stuck.
Right. Or what about you get baggage from it? You become emotionally scarred. You get PTSD emotionally. And you kind of, it's self-inflicted. And I mean, I'm talk about myself. I've made choices or dated people or even gotten into the Netflix and chill, because if we be honest, Netflix and chill doesn't occur during the normal business hours, number one. Mm-hmm. They only occur at night. Y'all 9 times out of 10 not going out in public, really seeing how each other's personalities are. Y'all legit in the dark, watching or not watching something on TV.
We are watching TV
and that's what I'm saying.
Bible study.
Right, no, I'm not.
Netflix is
watching us. Okay, Netflix is watching you. Okay, so and I'm not, and it's not a judgment, y'all, because we have all either still are in, coming out of, or have been in these type of situations. And what we're trying to say is we have now been enlightened. Our eyes have been open to say, you know what? There's a difference between dating somebody And that dating means I don't give them expectations of an actual boyfriend or girlfriend.
Right.
Okay? And there's a difference between relationships with someone, that there really is a difference between texting and talking, and then that face-to-face to see their body language, because a dude or chick can lie over their phone, but the body language never lie.
Right.
You know?
So you bring up you say that there's a difference between dating and relationships. So I just want to throw it out there. We'll ask Dante, what is relationship to you? Like, what do you expect out of a relationship? If you're in a relationship.
So in relationship, I wrote this down because I want to forget it. I look for positive ambition and drive.
Mm-hmm.
I look for personality,
Mm-hmm.
a genuine spirit. I also need good hygiene. And I know it's funny. I know that y'all gonna be like, what?
Okay, well,
It's
okay.
necessary. It's
Necessary
2019.
to even
Wait,
get
pause.
to dating.
Before we can even be friends. Like,
Yeah,
listen, like I won't even, like I'm not gonna even
I'm not gonna be able to deal with this.
at all.
You guys.
At all. So I mean that's
So
a
relationship,
that's a
any
blanket
relationship, that's
situation.
work
Come on.
relationship.
It don't matter if
Us
you are the
relationship.
janitor in my complex. I need you to.
Y'all
A
forget.
mint goes a long way. I don't even care. I can't even get to your deodorant or your lotion because I'm concerned about your mint and your mouth.
Okay.
So for me, I think to bring us back in,
Boy, you so silly.
I look at the basics. I, like everyone else, although I'm the youngest of the group, I recognize that I'm not getting any younger. And going back to what we said last week, lists sometimes can hinder us from really receiving what's really meant for us. I think that now I'm concerned about the basics. I want that good, strong collaboration. When it comes to discussion of finance, when it comes to us handling conflict, good, bad, or indifferent. I want that great personality, that great excitement and vigor in our relationship, that spontaneity, as Jackson talked about last week. I think those, for me, are things that will carry us through long term. And I think even when we discuss relationship, where is Bae, and all these different things, we have to also put ourselves in a mindset to consider long term. Even if it's in a date, even if we're dating, even if we're in a relationship, can I deal with this long term? Whether your long term is a week, a second, 10 years from now, 50 years from now. And I think that will really be able to help you. And I only say that because if I go on a date with you and we walk in and you ask, where the scrimp at?
Negative.
We're not. They're possibly. I'm not hooked on phonics. I'm not gonna be the one to help you. That's kind of like, oh, right?
Everybody's different. Everybody's different.
If we go to a place, if we get to a place where we're dealing with,
you said scrim at like
right.
Exactly.
And or if we have a conflict over something small, and you choose to magnify it by your own disposition or self-intent, how you handle conflict matters. So I look, April, for the basics. You know, I just want those core things that will really help to sustain us long term. Because I feel like, first of all, we should be friends first before we get in a relationship. So what things in our friendship can we develop initially to sustain us long term?
I don't think I agree with that part.
What you don't agree with?
Okay, I agree. I agree with him a little bit. But
I don't agree with the you gotta be friends part first.
What?
I think that it's important.
I'm gonna tell you why.
What's
Because I feel like I've met guys who I am friends with today, and we started off with a great friendship. But then there's guys that I see, and I'm like, I kind of don't want to be your friend. Like,
but you don't want to be my friend. You don't want to be my friend, but you want to date.
No, but you learn a person. Don't get me wrong. Being a friend and being somebody you date, that's two different.
No. But it's about so let me explain.
Okay.
It's about showing yourself friendly. It's about establishing that level of general, bottom line, basic collaboration, cohesiveness between two parties, two individuals. That don't mean that you got to be my best friend. When I'm married, God, I'm waiting and ready. When I am married, I want a companion. I want somebody who can be my best friend. When the chips are down, you're there.
Right, okay, that's different. But that's okay. I'm not saying that. I took what your comment was that we need to be like bona fide me and Jack's friends before we take it
There's
into
obvious,
a relationship. And that's not necessary. I would say
There's
that's
obvious
necessary.
separation from general friendships and us developing starting a friendship, initially that can evolve into a relationship or has the potential to. That comes from genuine discernment. That comes from
chemistry.
And intimacy and identity.
And that's chemistry.
And chemistry.
That's
And that's what we
you
need to say. So let's use the right terminology here.
Okay.
That what you're saying is we need to have a chemistry.
but chemistry,
And that grows into
a good relationship.
A good relationship.
But where does that start foundationally?
Right. Yeah, like I think that's the biggest thing. So like because as soon as when he was saying that, that's what I was thinking of. I think that we sometimes get the attraction confused with chemistry because it's truly chemistry is this.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't want to be around you. Like I genuinely there's a whole lot of stuff we could be doing. This is Saturday. There's a whole lot of stuff that we can be doing on Saturday.
Right.
But I genuinely like hanging out with them. I like having a conversation with them.
I enjoy you too.
And so even though we may be, doing something that may take a lot of bit of our time, then to me this is not only helpful for us to be able to share this with you, but I actually enjoy talking to you. I love that we have chemistry this way. And it's because I can have chemistry with you because we are friends. I can be free to cry. I can feel comfortable enough to say what I need to say, even though it may not be the best. And I think that sometimes it's what's missing in relationships, that sometimes people are attracted to someone, but they never get to the point where they feel that vulnerable. And you should be that vulnerable.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I think that those points is the determining factor where you say, do we take our situation from dating to relationship? Because you asked the question earlier, what do you look for in a relationship? And that's it. I look for a chemistry. I look for somebody who's going to have my back.
Yes.
I look for somebody who know how to talk to me. And all of those things I can find out through dating.
Right. Okay.
I can find out if you have my back, if we really hanging out or not. And maybe I trip, I fall. Do you go, you're behind, fell, I told you not to wear those heels? Or do you go like this? You good? Let me get up. Dust you off. And then you like.
And then
Are you going to?
I'm helping out first.
Right. I'm going to
left.
But also too, and I know this is not a social norm, but if you take me out, are you gonna pay? Are you gonna pay?
Who's gonna pay? The man
Well,
or the woman?
Is he gonna
I
don't care. I'm telling you what I look for in a relationship when I say, are you going to have my back? I'm not saying I can't pay for him.
I'll take it.
Say it, Jackson.
Okay, because my thing is, if I'm taking you out,
yes,
I'm taking you out.
You should pay.
Of course I'm paying.
But there's some people.
Even if you were my friend, you are my friend.
Yes.
If I say, Dom, let's have lunch, I'm paying. I invited you to lunch.
And that's cool, but
Like
my expectation.
that's the baseline.
But listen, but you my friend, so the expectation is even if you don't pay, I'm prepared.
Right, but my thing is, I was always thought that when you take somebody somewhere,
yeah,
you
but
pay.
what
if
I'm
I say, hey, I'm inviting you guys out to dinner. I'm paying for dinner. I'm not inviting you out so that you can pay and you can pay. Who
but
does
some
that?
guys in this day, and the reason why I made that statement is because I have had conversations with gentlemen. Not that I was typically interested. It wasn't like that type of thing, but we sat around a round table kind of like this. And I've heard gentlemen actually say, this is a date, dog. I ain't wasting my money.
Okay.
Hold on, because for me, now me being the person who you're courting, like I don't want to deal with nobody like that.
And I don't
because then at that point, I feel like then you are not going to be the type of person who I can count on to maybe help build my financial security.
So is it that sometimes people are foregoing dating or to go and really do things that you can really get to know someone? And I exclude movies. I think that movies are cool when you are more serious because because we didn't have conversation with them. Unless we, we
movies is it's dangerous.
No, unless you can come
not.
afterwards
It's not.
and we're gonna talk about the movie.
Yeah.
But I think that they're like generally like, is it a financial issue sometimes where where sometimes like, you know what, I just don't want to date, or I'm not dating serious. I would rather just
Then
do
you
the
don't need
Netflix
no
and
serious
chill
relationship.
because
My thing, and
Yeah, okay.
you
You don't
hit
need to be
right
in
on
no
in there.
relationship
As a man, if my thing is this: if I can't afford someone else, I can't afford to date.
Come on.
And
Come
my
on.
thing is-
relationship, and then that's
or
right.
the relationship.
And
And,
then
and my
that's
thing is, a lot of us, we have to say that to ourselves. Like, it's certain things that I can't do at this time. Not saying I can't do it originally, but maybe that means I need to sit down, strategize what my goals are. How can I get from where I am financially to where I want to be financially, and be able to afford someone else?
I agree.
We all talk about in Christianity where we're supposed to be the provider, and I know we're not supposed to do everything financially for our family. Some of us are, and I applaud you guys for that. But my thing is, in dating, if I'm getting to know you, I need to let you know that, hey,
This
I
is
got
some-
us.
That
I
is
have
in your
us.
capacity
And a lot of that,
to
right.
have me.
And a lot of
And
that
that's
gives you
what it
security
is.
of, can I
Yes.
even trust this guy to protect
And
me?
can I take it to the next level? I'm
It's a
sorry,
financial
like
part.
it's like for me, dating is that I'm looking for qualities in a person during my dating experience that will be good in an actual true blue relationship.
Right.
When I say this is my boyfriend and my car break down, I should be able to pick up the phone and call my boyfriend.
And either one or two things happen. Either I'm coming or I'm sending my insurance or somebody to come in and get
you
you.
wanna
But
help
I'm
me.
going to handle it.
You
Exactly.
want to take care of.
Right.
So, and this is me dating or relationship?
Because that's what I
No,
wanted
no,
to
no,
say.
that's
Relationship.
relationship. But no, you missed the point that I said the first time. I said my dating experience shows me signs
Correct.
that when I
He can
enter
handle like
into the actual
You
relationship,
said that. That's
I will
right.
pick up the phone
And
and,
he'll be there. Okay,
say,
I got you.
boyfriend, I'm stranded on the side of the road.
Now you can't
What
say
can you do?
you can't say guy I'm talking to.
No.
I'm trying to side of
No, and to be honest, that's cut, and that brings us to expectations. I do
Yeah.
not expect a guy that I am dating to be at my beck and my call. Now, there may be a situation in our dating,
You like that?
and
Right.
there may be
And my call.
there may be a time in our dating relationship where he may need to step up if something were to happen. Like if my tire blow out and I'm supposed to be meeting him somewhere, and I call and say, hey, I'm so sorry, I might be late, or I might have to take a rain check because my tire blew out. That would be the prime opportunity for him to say, oh, where you at? Then that shows his character. But
Right.
I'm not expecting him to come to my need. All I'm doing is saying, I can't make the date because my tire blew out, and, can we take a rain check? Now, if he don't show up, does that mean I don't date him anymore? No, that doesn't mean that. If he does show up, does that give him extra brownie points and really shows his character? Yeah.
I think it's gonna show his character.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because, but the whole thing that I'm saying is your dating experience should be hints and clues to who a person is before you actually commit your time and space
into
to
a
this
real
person.
relationship.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
and I think that the other thing is too, because we talked about a lot about chemistry and what can build a true relationship. But I think that there are some people and sometimes where maybe we're just not ready to date. And so, and you have to be able to, what we're talking about, being self-reflective and being able to look inside and really say, you know what, I'm not in the financial place to be dating someone.
Or-
Not
right.
in a relationship,
Right.
not dating someone,
Or
taking them
I'm
out
not
to
in
know.
or I'm not in the spiritual place. I'm not in
Right.
the psychological place.
Right.
I'm dating myself. I'm unavailable at this point.
Correct.
Because sometimes you have to tell yourself that and be comfortable with that.
Right. So, but are we comfortable with not really talking to nobody? Are we good with being able to communicate to somebody that, you know what, I'm really just doing surface right now because I can't emotionally be available to you like
I
that.
think it's a hard
Yeah.
pill
Like,
to
I think that
swallow,
would-
but
if
it
God
is-
could be
it
like,
is-
I
I
it's
don't think
hard.
that's a hard pill to swallow at all. I tell people plenty of time, I ain't looking for no man, I ain't looking for nothing.
We different. We're different than most people. Most people.
I'm just
now
telling
because I
you.
have friends who they need somebody all the time. And it's
Most people want companionship.
Right. I think
Are
that's
they
the
ready
issue.
for it? Not
No.
always.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But I think nobody just wants to be like, I don't want nobody. I want to be by myself. I think everybody wants somebody, but you gotta be ready.
Be ready.
Be ready.
And so that brings us to the next thing, which is how do you live in your shift? And so who wants to tackle the first one?
So I'll tell you the first one. It's don't get lost in your attraction.
Please.
Don't get lost in the sauce. Stay focused. Be vigilant. Understand what your heart's desires. What are you looking for? What is the intention? What is the true substance or nature of this situation, and move forward accordingly.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so the other thing is that we need to be intentional about identifying whether or not it's a relationship. Is it really a true relationship, or am I just dating here?
Right. Definitely.
That
Girl.
part. I think that we
Can we
hear
stay
like
on
we
that for a quick second? Because God done touched my spirit on that.
Touch!
You're so silly. I think we killed it on that, but I hope
No,
not.
seriously, I do want us to put a pin on that real quick. And let's tear it there for a second. You are not in a relationship if y'all only hung out 2 times.
Ooh.
You are not in a
true.
relationship if you guys have not sat down and discussed taking y'all what y'all got going, y'all Netflix and chill situation shit to do. I want you to be my lady. I want you to be my man. I want us to be exclusive.
Right.
And the reason why I'm saying I think we need to like really say you need to put a clear cut line
Well, that's the next thing.
between what you're doing, because that really unmuddies the water.
Because I hear a lot of muddy waters. Because a lot of times
Yes,
you're talking, it's like, oh yeah, my lady so and so. You talk to the lady, we just talking.
We just
Like, or
talking.
it's 2 different things, and
We
it's
just
like,
chilling. We just
so
vibing.
you know that there's no
Yes.
communication,
Yeah.
there's no
Now,
anything
I
there.
will say,
It's just,
I dated a guy back in college when I first got to Florida, y'all.
We ain't staying on that.
And this
Florida guy.
no, I'm really not going to say no names. But
I know some Mexicans.
this man was the first man in my entire life that introduced the idea of conversating and saying, yo, I want you to be my girlfriend. That was the first experience that I've had
Go Florida.
where it was the clear cut line in the sand, and it was no muddying of waters.
Correct.
When I said yes, I want to be your girlfriend, we operated
As a
like
couple.
girlfriend. We operated as a couple.
That's right.
And when we disconnected said relationship, we ain't still act like we was a couple. We went back to day one. I just talked to you on the phone when I could talk to you, and and I appreciated that. I'm bringing it up to say that I really appreciated that, because that set the standard for me for future relationships. Every relationship after that, I never considered it a relationship until we talked about it and set the standard. Because if I can't say you cheating on me.
If we
never said we was together,
Correct.
he ain't cheating on you,
Correct.
boo boo.
Correct.
She ain't no hoe, boo
Because
boo.
I be talking to
Never-
Y'all didn't set no standards.
Right, and so standards are, and like identifying those and being clear about those. And these are the expectations that come along with a relationship can be clear once you identify where you at. Where is our season? Where the expectation is, if we only chilling and sexting or texting, I'm sorry, but if we only texting each other, then that's where we at. And so the expectation is, I may talk to you in the morning, and I may talk to you in the afternoon,
And
but
phones are
that might
awesome.
be it.
Right.
Phones are awesome. I can set up a text to go out at. Let me stop. Go ahead.
You so
Go
cool,
ahead.
guys. But you know what? If I'm in a
You're not the
relationship,
kind of brother. This is why you need to go on dates and figure out who they are. You hear me? Okay, you be tricked.
Come on, you know I'm a good dude. Stop
you know,
it.
he texts me every morning at 8:30.
He a good guy.
Exactly. 8:37 every morning.
Good morning, babe. You my queen. No,
You my queen.
you my queen. No, but God bless. But anyway, so I think, is there any other points? I think that's how we deliver the
absolutely.
shift.
Set the proper expectation for the season you're in. And I think we kind of touched on it,
We did.
but it is very critical. If you are seriously dating, act like you're dating. Don't act like you're in a full-blown committed relationship where you have to share your time and your space. You don't have to do check-ins if y'all dating. That's not a thing. Checking in with a man who ain't my man is not a thing, okay? You don't have to feel obligated to do anything for a person whom you're just dating.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to set those expectations. And I think that once we have really set those expectations, guys, we'll be able to really find Bae a little bit better.
Right.
Right.
All right. So if you have any comments, anything that you would like to say, please share it in the comment section. And we want you to like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. and we are thankful for you, and we look forward to seeing you next week. All right.